Good morning, traders and investors. Welcome to the Old Bastard Weekend Review, where the old bastards learn how to sit and make lots of money while everything is going to hell in a handbasket. This is MDB Modified Darvas Box, and today is November 2nd, and it's 10:30 a.m. in the morning. And I hope everybody had a good week. We've got a lot to cover because the market is changing, and I'm seeing a lot of things to get worried about. And I think after this video, you'll probably be nodding your head, going, "Yeah, I think maybe I agree with MDB," or you may think I'm completely wrong. That's fine. That's what makes markets opinions, and everybody's got one. So before we get into it, because there's a lot to cover, for anyone who's never watched one of my videos, I've created a unique trading strategy based on the book How I Made $2 Million in the Stock Market by Nicholas Darvas. We have seances regularly to talk to Darvas's ghost, and he gives lots of advice during those times. If you want to sign up, let me know. But I've also incorporated other elements of other strategies, including a lot of stuff from the Strat strategy. And if you want to learn more about that, look it up at #TheStrat. And it takes a little while to get your hands around it, but like with any strategy anybody has, you take the good parts out of it, and then you the stuff you can use, and then you leave the rest. So I have stocks here on 6 different lists. Whoops, not that one. 6 different lists, and I'm constantly moving them around. We're going to look at the stocks that have triggered some kind of trading signal in list 1 through 4. And I always start here on list 1, which is indexes. Trading signals, what are those? Trading signals are basically valid trading signals, not really trend lines, not like, pennants and triangles and all that jazz, but it's really a set of parameters which shows up on the charts. And I have trading signals coded in colors on my charts, and I highly recommend you do the same. So what's a trading signal? Well, how about an inside bar? These gray ones. And inside bars are basically 50-50, but it shows indecision. And how do you trade them? Well, you trade the reaction to it. You trade them when they hit the top or the bottom. Duh. Other valid trading signals, are like hammers and shooters, which I'll show you in a second. But if you think about it, the market is telling you what to do all the time on the charts. And it's simply learning how to interpret charts to see what the market's telling you what to do. It's that simple. You don't need to, be saying stuff like, it's looking tight, it's looking frisky, it's breaking out, it's bouncing off the 10-day, bouncing off the 11-day, bouncing off the 12-day. I mean, who the hell knows? But yeah, I have a moving average in here, but I don't really use them all that much. It's just for a little bit of perspective. But anyways, let's get into it. The AMZ. So MLP index, notice here, this tracks oil. These pay dividends. And look at that, sideways. But now look, it's sort of breaching the weekly moving average. It's done that before, but it's just symptomatic when you look at this and then combine it with everything else you're seeing. That's when the big picture starts being painted and goes from being hazy to being more clear. So we know, just looking at this, that it's beginning to roll over a little bit, broke its weekly moving average. But now I have a bunch of these for income, and but the weekly, the monthly look looks just fine. See, there's that monthly moving average. And because I like to hold these for long term because they pay income, either monthly or quarterly, well, I'll probably use the monthly to evaluate it. And right now we just got a sideways Darvas box. So not really worried, but you can see relative weakness. And the devil's in the nuances and the details. ARK, I keep ARK around because it's just got great examples of the colors, but ARK, that's a Darvas box breakout failure right there. So, yep, Kathy Woods, she made a little bit of money, but, Pity the poor ARK shareholder. But again, examples of colors, pardon me. Right here, we've got yellow bar buy signals, blue bullish signals, pink bearish signals, and then these types, an orange hammers and shooters, inverse hammers. These are all valid trading signals. And if you use them to help interpret charts, you might learn a thing or two. But the biggest thing is, again, the reaction to those signals. We trade the reactions, not the signal itself. You can, but, this is a probability business. How do you raise the probability that your trade will be successful? Well, raise the probability of success. So that's what we're trying to do, and uh, that's how you make this simple. Okay, BZJ, approximate index for oil, and look at that. Peaked back in here in April, been going down sideways. Now it's going down a little more, a little rebound, going down more. When oil's going down, it means demand's going down, right? Why is oil demand going down? Gee, could we be slipping slowly into slower economy? Yeah, that feels likely to me. But again, you're painting the big picture here. All right, that's just one piece of the puzzle. And oh, what's this message say? So, yeah, just one piece of the puzzle. Now, here's the bigger one, the Nasdaq. This is much more relates to all of us. And by the way, I've been trading for 25 years. I made my first trade in 1995. So I've been around a lot of markets. I've seen a thing or two, and that's why I feel like these days I'm just an old bastard who sits and doesn't do a lot, and yet probably outperform a large chunk of the active traders out there. Hey, it just got to be me. So we got the NASDAQ. This is very interesting. Latest signal here. Uh-oh. A pink bar warning signal. That's a warning. That's a sit up and pay attention. Something's going on. So immediately when I see one of those, I'll put a trend line and I'll set an alert, because this is becoming important. We had at this level right here, we had a shooter bar. The Nasdaq went down and then it sort of futzed around and now came back strong here with the yellow bar buy signal. Yeah, you could have bought it. You were long, you're making money. We had two hammer signals and even a blue bullish bar breakout signal. But now look at that, an even more stronger signal which says no, actually we're not going to break out. Not right now. So that's what that's saying. And the volume is the intensity. We're bullish, we're bearish. They're screaming even louder. So this is a sign to be cautious. You better buckle your seatbelts. And it does not mean sell everything right away, but it does mean you better start paying attention. Ethereum. Who cares about Ethereum? There's a shooter signal, an inverse hammer. That's bearish. That's a very bearish signal. Probably, I wouldn't be shocked if this goes from here and goes back down to like 13 or whatever. People may want Bitcoin, but they sure don't want Ethereum. Isn't that interesting? FFTY growth proxy. This is looking a little okay. I mean, it's sort of going sideways. It's not crashing. So maybe it's not so bad on growth, because here's an example of crashing. But this is where longer term investors said, no. The long term is looking better than you guys think. You made a mistake. And so far, these guys have been correct. Pay attention. China. Yeah, all those people joining people to buy China. Yeah, well, this bar right here said not so fast, son. And look at that. It's done pretty much nothing. Gold. Oh, ho, ho. A shooter bar on gold. A shooter bar on gold. Gold's been doing fantastic, but uh-oh, that's a bearish bar. This was a bullish bar before, so it went, we're bullish, yay. And now they're screaming a lot louder, we're bearish, no. And you see, got to take advantage, got to understand these signals. You could have been long for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14 weeks. But now on week 15, it might be time to step off. What do you think? Now, last time it had a signal like here, it just went sideways. So now that's the decision which investors have to make. Has gold gone far enough? Is it going to go sideways? I mean, nobody knows. But if you, let's say you've been riding this trend since right here, yeah, maybe you might want to start thinking about selling some and taking some off. HYG, high yield bonds, this is more worrisome. Look what happened. It broke its Darvas box right there. Boom. So it went up, had this nice little run, came out, got everything all bulled up, and now, closed even this giant Darvas box range here, goes up a little, and now it starts failing. That's a worrisome signal. So you see, painting a picture of caution. Insurance, IAK, bullish signal broke out. Now, last 2 weeks have been all sells, but you don't need to panic as much on this because look, the intensity of the signal, volume, is kind of low. No, so I'm not real worried about that one. Bitcoin had a inside bar last week. What do you do on an inside? You trade whichever end it hits. So it broke out, yay! But then the seller showed up, yeah, about that. So Bitcoin, yeah, that's kind of a bearish bar. So it's been exciting week or two, huh? But so far the bears are saying that might be enough. Software keeps going up. At least software is doing well. Sideways, but now this might be a sideways Darvas box beginning right here. So we go 92.82. Did anything go higher? Close higher? Nope. 3 weeks. So we've got a box high, but now we need a box low to set. So this is a potential box. Because you see we have a box low right here, closed higher, but I need another week of it closing above this low. Then we'll have a valid Darvas box. Otherwise, I'll start adjusting it and making it bigger and bigger. So it takes time for boxes to form. ITB, housing. The big signal right here, but it's been kind of herky-jerky. You had a signal right here, which should trigger, but up, down, and now down hard the last 2 weeks. And now we've got a breakout failure. See, right on the edge right there? Okay, so I would say this trend is probably headed for sideways now, but uptrend? No, not anymore. Sorry. What do we got here? Microcaps. Oh, bearish shooter bar. IWM inside bar, but if you trade it to the downside, that can turn bearish real fast. Right there. Healthcare. Box breakdown right here. We sold that in the family trust because we bought it like in here, and it's like, well, why the hell are we sticking around here? We made a little bit of money, but nothing special. Transports. More caution signals. Bearish shooter bar here, and now followed 2 weeks later by another bearish shooter bar here. Do you think the market's trying to tell us something? You see how these signals are painting a picture? The market talks loud and clear. Most people just don't listen to it. In this video, we're listening to the market, and hopefully you're nodding your heads going, okay, yeah, I see. If you're not, well, keep studying. You'll learn eventually. NASDAQ 100 equal weighted index. Yeah, it's coming down a little bit. Nothing too insightful. There's Fizz. That's also gold. Notice here on Fizz, look at the size of that sell bar. Yeah, some people took this seriously. They looked at this and said, this trend has gone far enough. I'm taking my money out now. That's how you listen to the market. You see the signals and the intensity of the signals. They sold gold, which is interesting because gold's been going up. And if gold's not a safe haven in what's to come, what the hell is? Interesting. QQQs tried to break out, sort of like the NASDAQ, but, coming down. Not as bad on the volume, so that's a plus. RSPs, been the strongest, moving up, but now coming in a couple weeks. Nothing crazy, though, but it's probably going to form a Darvas box soon. This is the more worrisome signal. Short-term bond funds or bond rates. When short-term rates are going up, this price goes down. Look at that. This is could you call this a collapse? Well, it's looking sort of like it, but that's pretty sick move in the last 5 weeks. And Druckenmiller's short bonds, so's some other people. The bond market's got some problems. And if the bond market has problems, then the stock market might get some problems also. Semiconductors, pink bar warning signal. That means to pay attention. Inside bar. Now, it did trigger to the top, but it only held for like a nanosecond. And then it triggered down to the bottom side. So guess what? That's 2 caution signals, and now it triggered bearish. Do you think semiconductors are going to turn around next week? These are just more cautionary signals piling up. S&P 500 moving higher. Well, not moving higher. Coming in the last couple of weeks. A little more selling, but no real big signals. SPY doesn't show anything crazy. Sentiment pointing downwards here, down by the lows. Stocks above the 200-day went from 60% down to 50%. Stocks above the 40-day went from 63%. Now we're at 38%. Ooh, that's a bit more drastic. But this one swings around a lot. But I did a tweet on this. Down, up, down, up, down. I mean, it's gyrating pretty hard. The tan, wouldn't you know it, box breakdown, and then they decide to buy it when markets aren't doing well. Such a disservice to other people. That's I would almost call this a head fake, but we'll see. Just annoying. Head fake. This is designed right here to get you excited in this and say, no, it's rebounding. It's rebounding. They're lying. Or, well, we'd need to see bigger volume for them, to really get excited about that. So we'll see. Maybe they're betting on a Democratic win. I don't know. TLTs. Okay, bond market's got problems, right? Pink bar signal sells down. Pink bar signal sells down. Now we got another one, pink bar signal. You think this is telling a story? Have we had 3 of these in a relatively row at all? Only back up in here. And even then, not as drastic. Something's going on. And it would, we should be paying attention. On the monthly chart, the monthly's not so crazy, but the monthly's had all these failed signals. Fail, where they didn't really do anything and then ultimately failed. Oops, it's not really a straight line. There we go. So, yeah, the monthly doesn't paint a very good picture. Why should you put your money in this? Don't. Caution. The VIX. Does that look like a breakout to you? Here, let's change this from, I use arithmetic. Let's change to log. That looks a little bit better. Does this look like a Darvas box breakout to the upside? That means more volatility. Everything changed here in July. And look at that. The volatility can't get under control. People out there, they know that there's problems with the system. And we might, this here says buckle your seatbelts. Things might get really nuts soon. Not a guarantee, but we got to listen to what the market is telling us, right? Right. If you have a friend who's super bullish and totally bullish and won't listen, well, You'll be able to point this out to them later when they lose a lot of money. VNQs, sideways. More home builder action. Not as bad on this one, but some selling there. XLE, failed breakout here. Now sideways with a downward tilt. We already know from the oil that oil's not doing so hot. So, yeah. Financials, inside bar, but interesting that TLT sold down and this did not. Maybe all the financial institutions are short bonds also. I don't know. XLU, utilities, hottest sector in the market. What did it do last week? Inside bar. That's a valid trading signal, and it triggered to the downside. So even the hottest index is now cooling off. See this picture I'm painting for you? It's a lot different. Okay, let's go to list 2. This is textbook Darvas box breakouts. Now, this list is going to shrink a little bit because some of these don't qualify anymore. So AOI, yeah, it's a breakout, a very bumpy breakout. This here it showed sort of a balance of supply and demand. I sold right up here, made some good money. I had to try it twice, but the 12s to the 18s, that's pretty good. That's around 50% return. It did signal here, but then some big volatility in here. This is kind of a bullish bar, but you know, how much tech is bullish when the other tech is bearish? So I wouldn't bank on this one triggering, but it might. I mean, you never know. So what do? Set an alert. Set an alert. And if it alerted, who knows? Maybe we buy it back. But I took the money on that one. Axon moving up, but look, a week of selling. See, it was a tough week. Cat violated its Darvas box breakout. I only made a few bucks on that, but this one no longer qualifies to be on this list. I'm going to put it in list 6. This one right here keeps moving up, volatile, but keeps the trend is overall up. I don't use trend lines, but at least I'll draw something like that. But not my favorite. But you got green, 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 no red. That's bullish. This one right here, CVLT. This is a box breakout, but man, was this a tough one. Breakout here, big sell down here, big sell down here, and then I guess it reported earnings, and now it's back to breakout. Talk about a shake and bake from 135 up to 165, 30-point swings. Tough market. But look at that. Big green volume. This here is saying, hey, even though we sort of misjudged it here these 2 weeks, we were wrong, and now we think this one's a buy. Carvana, box breakout here, moving higher. God, gotta love it. I tweeted to be cautious about because the Garcia family is selling. The Garcias own it, and man, they are just heck of operators. I don't know what to say. But they were selling the crap out of it all back in here in 2021 and all that. So, well, we'll see if they sell it again or not. Look at this on the monthly. It's now in this upper range. Maybe that's time to sell. I don't know. Maybe that's the end of the trend. But again, we won't know. Really, if it goes below like 200, then we know, okay, something's really changed. But what do? You sit tight and wait. Okay, IonQ, box breakout here. But look, we got the big red volume. I sold right up here in the 16s, high 16s. So from the 9s to the 16s, that's almost, I forgot the calculation, like an 80% return in 4 weeks or whatever. I will take that. And people say, well, MDB, how did you know to sell? Well, you've got different things here. First of all, you could use the top edge of the old box. Yeesh. See right here at 18, some resistance. It's way above the Bollinger Band line right here. You know, closed all the way up here. Ugh, I don't know about that. But here's how I dealt with it. I was aware of all that. But then I saw on the daily, see this day right here? Big selling that's higher than the prior day. So at this point, I sold at the end of the day. You know, I got pretty much the closing price right here. And now it's been pulling back coming in. And but you see, the selling bar, the intensity. I didn't trade it during the day. I wasn't, you know, I looked at it like in the final 15 minutes of the day. And I said, you know what? We've done just fine. Let's take some money out. Let's take the money off the table. And look at this week here, big red selling week. Apparently, I was not the only one. This one's doing great. I mean, look at that. Keeps going. Meta, okay, Meta has formed a Darvas box. We've got a high here. We got a low here. Well, actually, it needs one more week. But for all intents and purposes, it's going sideways. So I'm just going to move it. And I'm going to put it on watching list. MicroStrategy, MSTR, up, 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 and away. Signal here, box breakout. But now look here. The biggest bar of this breakout is a sell bar. That I would be cautious of. I don't own this, but I would be cautious at this point. Oracle, looking sideways. Formed a bare bones box, although if it sells down, it might be a different size box. But not really going to be a breakout. I'm going to put this back to watching. PI, I still own this one, even though I've suffered on this. The biggest reason is because even though this sold here, there really hasn't been any real signals. And even on the daily, you know, this bad day, and then it rebounded and sort of come back, but it's just sort of settling at the low. And I haven't really had much cause to sell it. And I'd like to own it. And now it's forming a sideways box. Not completely foreign, but again, we'll put it on the watching list. PLTR. So did anybody take my advice and notice this high level from way back here? Was it, you know, that's just how you know. It's just keep it simple. Yep, that's a peak. And now it's going to struggle a little bit. I don't know what's going to happen, but that would be a perfect time at 45 to take money off the table. Good, more power to you if you did. Poet, this little one, I could have sold it here. I still have this barely hanging on, but it's a small position. I don't really care. Roblox. This is a, wow, powerful box breakout. I did not expect this. I do not buy it because if the allegations are true, you know, I just don't want to deal with it. But that's a powerful Darvas box breakout in Roblox. It's undeniable. Rubric, I own this one. Bought here, added here, and it's up. So looking good. No signals here. Reddit, boom, looking good. Boy, who saw that coming? Not me. RKLB, I own it. It's still moving higher. 2 inside weeks in a row. That means tight. It's always annoying when people say, oh, the chart's looking tight. No, it's not tight. It's only tight if you have multiple inside bars in a row. Period. Roku with a big dump. Here, I didn't really know why Roku was up. I didn't really care, but I was tracking it. This one's gone. I'll put it under watching. SE, I own this one. And notice here, it's starting to form a sideways Darvas box. It's losing momentum. Needs another week, but I'm just going to move it out to watching. Spot keeps going up ever so slowly, but it's still valid. TKO, this is definitely going to be a Darvas box on this drop. Needs another week to form, but it'll form. For all intents and purposes, the mojo's done on that one. Put it to watching. Tesla, box breakout, and then the pullback, and now it's no longer a breakout. So you know what? I'm just going to put this one to bullish, but it doesn't deserve to be in this list. Uber, box breakout failure. Did you really expect anything different? This one comes off the list. I'm going to put it back to watching. I could put it on the negative list, but URI, still looking good. Pulled back 2 weeks. Probably going to do another one, but it needs another week. Walmart keeps chugging. There's a inside week, 50-50. If you want to trade it, but why? Just sit it and let it do its thing. And the wolf, I own some of this. Box breakout. Pullback, but look how small this pullback is in relation to the breakout. This means don't panic. Yeah, it was above the Bollinger Band here, so people thought, hey, it's time to sell. Sure, why not? But nothing really wrong there. But notice how small this list has gotten. All right, let's look at the bullish list. Apple. Oh, Apple's no longer bullish. Failed box breakout. Let's move it. Buffett's been selling a lot of this too. A-Lab. I owned A-Lab from here. I sold it here. I made like 20 cents. But it looks okay. But again, no real big signals. There was this signal here, but not an easy one to trade. So maybe it does good, maybe not. I don't know. But I'm out of this one. Not everything works out. But I like these green bars, but if things get volatile, forget it. But still in the bullish list. Amazon finally getting its act together, coming to it. Bezos was a seller up in here. Well, we'll see what happens. I read he's been selling again up here. So it's so interesting when the founder is selling, yet the market is buying. APP, not a full shooter bar signal, but close one. Is this run over? I don't know, but we'll find out next week, probably. Kava moving up, but ever since here, it's been sort of very muted. So we'll see what happens. Deck, bullish signal, bearish pullback, but not so bad. If you like deck, maybe this is where you try it. But still bullish, at least as far as I determine it. GEV moving higher. Look at how awesome this is. GM, box breakout, but low volume. But that's moving higher. Okay. Google, yellow bar buy signal. Interesting. Google's not dead. It's like Monty Python. I'm not dead. Netflix still moving higher. It looks fine. Now the blue bar signal. Yeah, pullback, but still looks grinding its way higher. NVIDIA, box breakout. And if it was going to fail, it would have failed here week 4. It might fail next week, but, well, still looks okay here. You want to know where to judge it? Judge it off of $130, the 130 level. If it hits here and drops, then things are really going to change. Race, doing all right, going sideways, looking okay. Root, anybody buy this one? I forgot all about Root. Jesus, and it went up to 110, 115. Maybe we got to buy some of this. And if we are, I'm going to look forward to buying some of this on Monday. Whoops. Gosh, I can't do this right now. So I've acknowledged the signal. Thank God I didn't buy it at 115 and have it come back down to 70. But maybe there's something here. And maybe buying it at 71 is much better than buying it at 100 when things are going nuts. There on the daily. We've had 2 weeks of daily, 2 days of daily, excuse me. So crazy day, an inside bar. Where do you think I'm going to be looking to buy it? Maybe here at 77. That'll be my mark, maybe. Or because the spread between the close and the high is around 6 points, so maybe it might do a ladder strategy. You buy some at the open, see what happens, and then maybe you buy some again, see what happens, and then if it hits up to 77, then you buy your last slug. So that's how you can do ladders. That's fine. You'd have an average cost around maybe 74. But if it's going up and it goes to 80, who cares? 71, 74, who cares? But anyways, bullish signal, and we'll see what happens. Square, the breakout's doing okay, but, volume's low. We'll see. There's Tesla. We already know about that. And then Zim. Here's something I bought. Okay, Zim has punched me twice here and up in here, but not too horrible, and then a failure right here. But see, one thing I noticed, pink bar signal, and this was based on news, like the shooting missiles in Israel and all that. But then it sort of recovered a little bit. Then it started moving. I noticed the box breakout didn't do anything. Pull back. And now I'm like, you know what? Maybe there's a trade here. So I bought some on Thursday on Halloween, and so far so good. Maybe I'll finally win on this one. My pride is, my ego, my pride is hurt. But there may be a chance to make money. And part of what attracts me also is the big picture on the monthly. Why were these guys putting big money into this back here around 10 to 15? Well, they're putting big money in there. Biggest of this whole time is because they see a much better future. Like, look at Carvana. This is a great example to compare. These bastards in here were buying hand over fist here, and look where the price is now. That's on a monthly chart. And now here, buying big here, buying again here. Where's this thing going to go? Back up here? I'll take a double or a triple. Sure, why not? Plus it pays dividends. Sure, why not? So you see how you can find long-term trades and act like an old bastard, turkey partridge. Sit on your butt. Sit on your butt and double your money. Where are we at? Oh, wrong list here. Bullish. Yeah, so that's Zim right there. Okay, let's get to the bearish list, and then we're wrapping. I want to show you a couple other things. So I told you it's all about caution. Lots of caution signals. You're just going to see a lot of breakdown signals here. Air. White bar sell signal, Darvas box breakdown. Looking bad. AMD. Pink bar warning signal, not looking good. ANET, pink bar, inside, resolved, triggered down, but sort of resolved, hanging on. Let's give it one more week. ARM, I tried to short it last week. It then went up, little bastard, and so I covered. I didn't really make any money and all that, but now it's down again. And I could have gone after it, but you know what? I don't need those types of headaches. So, but it is, after all this chaos, it's still below it's closed below the trigger level. But a ton of volatility, so a tough one to have. CEG, 2 inside weeks in a row. That means it's getting really tight. And what does it do? It resolves to the bear side. Interesting. Clear suck or clean suck. Pink bar sell signal. 2 big Big sell bars in a row. Yeah, this one just is awful. Coinbase, so exciting on the yellow bar buy signal. Sold off an inside bar and now a pink bar sell signal. Thanks for playing. Costco. Can you imagine Costco going down? It finally closed and created a Darvas box here. And then what happens? Breakout. Well, it's up. It's up. And then week 4, failure. So that goes on the negative list. Crocs. Barf. And this one gave you a sell signal right here. So you could have gotten out on this one and not been crushed like that. But that's pretty much telling you, yeah, no thanks. Dash, shooter bar, potentially bearish signal. DHI, white bar sell signal. The Darvas box negated. Yeah, I don't think those housing projections are maybe going to come true. Maybe they're going to be a little different. What do you think? But that's a bearish signal. DJT, huge volume. Look how big that volume is. It's huge. Well, he's going to win the election, but as far as the stock, yeah, man, I have no idea. But didn't trade it. Now that's, I'd say the biggest red volume in its history is a sell signal. ELF, I'm still short ELF. Look at that, never violated the yellow line. Stay short. If you're short in a great spot or a trade in a great spot, let the market prove that it fails. Otherwise, stay with it. Yeah, you got to put. Yeah, I've been putting up with 6 weeks of sideways, but now if it starts going down again, I'll get paid, and that's how you sit and bank and not stress so much. Right here, EMPH down and keep going down. I am short EMPH. Oh, this box should be closed off and made red. So even though the tan solar had some green, yeah, don't believe it. Ford, pink bar warning signal, potential box breakout. For solar, this is why the tan looks okay. I shorted it here. I covered. Look at the difference between that and the other one is night and day. So. GH finally coming up. I'll give it another week before I move it off this list. Hood, pink bar signal. Uh-oh. IoT down 2 weeks in a row from that inside bar. Uh-oh. Shooter bar on this one. 2 big weeks of selling. Uh-oh. LMT. Beautiful uptrend and then blammo. Pink bar warning signal, triggered lower. Uh-oh. This one's still going down. Microsoft, white bar sell signal. Uh-oh. Notice here on Microsoft, it negated the yellow bar buy signal. NNE, nuclear, super speculative, very risky. Shooter bar signal. Uh-oh, that's bearish. And that's followed by the biggest red bar in its history. Uh-oh. Steel, big sell down bar last week. Now bearish shooter bar this week. But maybe not, but that's what the signal's telling us. We'll see. Qualcomm, bearish shooter bar goes down. Who is that calling me? I have no idea. Bearish shooter bar and now down 2 weeks in a row. Rivian, box breakdown here, it just keeps going down. This hasn't had 2 up weeks in a row since then. Downward trend. RDX was doing great, and now here this week, trend is dead. SMCI, look at that. It's now below where it had that big move. Unbelievable. This one looks like it's going down back to this one looks like it's in serious trouble. I mean, I'm talking like a 0 or a 1. Shark Ninja, big warning signal. One of the best trends since here, and now it changes this week. You better be paying attention. Big signal there. Time to leave. Snow, I'm still short snow. The bastard's going to dump eventually someday. Sting, here's why you pay attention to signals. This is about oil transport. Well, there's a signal right there. If you hadn't taken action or recognized or known what it was, well, look what happened after. It went from 70 down to 50, 56 in 3 weeks. That's terrible. TMDX. This had a bullish signal here, and then what happened? Belly flop. And I noticed many popular FinTwit people were all over this, being like, it's a great deal, I'm buying it at 100, whatever. Yeah, now it's at 82. And it looks terrible. Something's gone wrong. That's an avoid. Maybe not a short. You could have shorted on the failure right here. The bar failure here. You could have shorted it. Or you could have shorted it off that inside bar. But you'd want to have a real reason to, you know? I mean, how is anybody supposed to know it's going from 175 down to 82? But I can definitely tell you, you shouldn't be buying this at 100 or 110 or 95 or 90. No, this one has a ton of work to do. This is dead money. So, you know who I'm talking about, right? So, anyways, Upstart, yeah, there's the small signal, but it closed down. There may be other factors involved. We'll see what happens. And VRT with that pink bar down, but hasn't triggered down, so we'll see. VST, same deal. Pink, inside, down, down. This one's down also. So that's the whole gist. I think you get the picture of the bearish list and the bullish list. The bearish list is a lot bigger now than the bulls. Things are changing, lots of signals. So pay attention to that. For anybody who asked for a chart, let's take a look. Agilent Technologies. Well, I don't follow this one, but I see white bar sell signal, white bar sell signal. Let's look at the monthly. There's not much going on the monthly. How would you deal with this? Probably start all the way back here. And, oh no, that one would be valid here. But there's nothing really much going on in this one. It's really all sideways. Yeah, there's your box range right there. Any bullish stuff here? No, just big red, nothing. I'd say avoid. Sorry. Anything here? This one, GT. Ugh. Yeah, you know what? This one's a decline since 2017. Down. I'd say this one's an avoid. Don't bother. AQST. I've never heard of that one. Or maybe I have. I don't know. Aquestive therapy. No, I can guarantee I've never heard of this. Monthly chart. Well, it's a biotech, so it's a drug manufacturer. Well, it's had some action here, but then they use that to sell it, but now it's coming back. Huh. I don't really like biotech. I apologize. I think you could draw this sort of like, well, sort of like here, but it needs a new box. This one's a tough one to have an opinion on. I'd say it's in an uptrend, but you got to, don't mortgage your house on this one. I'll have to look at this one more. If I see something more, I'll post it on Twitter. Last one, SMLR. Never heard of that. Something scientific? There's not much. Well, there may be something here, but look, it used to be $140, now it's $30. Yikes. You could probably box it up like on the monthly like this. So if this buying pans out, well then set an alert for like 47 or 45 and buy it then. Let's look at it on the weekly. Oof, yeah, it's so wide and loose. You got all this selling, but now, okay, all right. Well, there's a signal. I'd say if you liked it, you could try some, just don't mortgage your house. Okay, so that's what I got for requests. Now, the last thing I want to walk you guys through is the latest S&P 500 numbers. Those numbers came in, and they are dated as of Halloween. Let's get a chart of the S&P. Okay, closed at 57.28, spot 80, which equates to current value of 11%. We're looking at 11% growth at a 28 trailing PE. Jesus. Now notice here the forecasts are pretty good for an average growth of 21%. Okay, 21% is a great number, but they're in the future. Meanwhile, the point which I made on Twitter is that the last 3 quarters where the valuations took off, the AI boom, we've only earned -2, 9, and 11%, and yet we're trading in the 27s and the 24s. That's expensive. To trade at that PE for this little growth, that's expensive. And I have a hard time seeing this being sustained. Now, what's the downside risk in the market? Well, oh, and by the way, and here's the chart of what I believe is the right way to evaluate PEs. So, what's the risk in the market? Well, let's say we wanted to go down and match this growth rate to 21. A sell-off occurs. What does 5,000 S&P 500 look like? Well, it takes us down to 22, 24. That would be strong market territory, and it would get us a lot closer to the average growth that's coming, forecasted to be coming. And the big problem is the actual, when it shows up, doesn't match the forecast, because the forecast gets ratcheted down, and then, it is what it is. So 5,000, that would put us, the risk down to about right here. Who's ready for a drop down to 5,000? I think nobody is. And that's only for a reasonable valuation. Let's say we want to get it back down to a 20 PE. Well, 4,800? Nope. 4,500. Okay, 4,500. Now we're back down to a 20, which is, between an average and strong. If we're going into recession, if the economy is going to slow down, well, 45. Who's ready for a drop down to there? Who's ready? You ready for that? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm saying that the way that this is priced, that the index is priced, the value that it reflects, this is just ludicrous, insane values. Over 25 trailing PE and, pretty close high forward PEs. Any weakening in the market is going to make this want to get reevaluated. So maybe 5,000 is the first cut back to more reasonable valuations. But how does that look? It scares the crap out of me. So more reasons to be cautious and pay attention to the market and what it's doing. And if the indexes start getting weak, well then, we got big decisions to make. What do you do with your 401ks? What do you do with your long-term money, etc.? So don't mean to scare you, but it's just we need to pay attention to what's happening here in the future. All right, I hope you have a good weekend, and talk to you next week.